Hello guys, welcome back to Mark Shrimp Tanks. In today's video we're going to do an update on my Opae Ula tank because it has been more than a year since we set this up and I thought it was about time that we did a little review. Maybe clean up the tank a little bit. We're going to change the filtration slightly as well and I'll explain why in a minute. And we're also going to do a water change now. We often say with Opae Ula that you don't have to do water changes, but it's been a year. So I think it's time we refresh the tank a little bit. Because in the wild, guys, right, you will have alkaline pools where the Opae Ula live, right, where water is put in via rainwater and there will be some water coming through the sea via seepage back up into the pool, right? So it's not a total, how would you word this? It's not a total enclosed system completely, right? So it does receive some water changes naturally as well, right? So this is what we want to do today. We're going to do that. I've already prepped the salt. We have 25 litres of water there. I just went with roughly about 20 grams of salt for every litre, right? So for me that was like, it was a way up into the like 400. I basically used what I had left in the bag, right? It doesn't need to be perfect with Opae Ula because their salinity range is probably between 1.010 and 1.0, probably all the way up to nearly full strength salt water, right? But you want to keep it roughly about half, right? So that's what we've done today with this. As I said, I used Instant Ocean here, so this stuff lasts an awful long time. For this entire tank, I think I used 2 bags of this. I think this is a 2 kilogram bag, so it's not much salt, right? So once you get past the initial outlay of actually spending your money on your stuff, your tank and whatever else, it's really, everything else is basically almost free, because these guys, they eat off what's in the tank. I do feed them sometimes. No water changes, filtrations that are very minimal. So yeah, they're very, very easy to keep, right? So let me stop blethering. We're going to take the lid off. We might do the filter first because we're going to add something to the tank, because let's just talk about it right now. Guys, I'm not happy with the way this filtration system works in here. A lot of people that have Opae Ula, they don't even bother with filtration systems, but I have noticed that the ones where I have slow filtration going into the tank a little bit, that it is just a little bit better than not having it. So that's what I tried to do with this tank. So in the middle here you can see there's a big sponge filter. It's like this size with a white pipe coming out the top. And the issue with this, guys, because it's a deeper tank, right, I have to pump more air through this to get the filter to work properly, and I don't like it. I don't think the Opae Ula like it either, because there's too much water movement in the water columns that interferes with the Opae Ula basically through the, because if you don't know, right, Opae Ula, they have different stages in their life cycle where they'll have like larval forms, and they won't even look like little shrimp until they grow to a certain size, and then they change into a little shrimplet. And yeah, when they're in those early stages, they're basically free floating around in the tank. Right, so if you have a lot of current in it, it can play havoc with what's actually happening to the little bodies in the tank. Right, so we want to minimize the amount of water movement that we have in here. So we're going to change the filtration to the same one that is below down here, and that is, we're going to use just a basic double sponge filter. Right, so I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go in here all gung-ho removing filters and stuff, right? I'm going to put the other one in on this side over here, and we'll let it run for months before we decide to remove the one in the middle, right? Because then the one at the side will be fully cycled and whatever else, right? And once we do this, there will be less flow throughout the tank, and yeah, you'll start to have like babies hanging around the surface. Because when I look, guys, with my eyes into the water right now, I don't see the same amount of babies hanging around that I do in the bottom tank here, right? So there's a lot of shrimp in here, and they're clearly having babies and they're clearly surviving, but I think it's better if the young are more or less free floating around this range here. So yeah, let's do that. We're going to, as I said, we're going to do a water change as well, but let's do this actual filter. Right, guys, this is a hell of an angle here, but this is the end where we're going to put the filter. It is just a basic double sponge filter like this. I have them in all my tanks. Now hopefully this one actually sticks to the glass, because yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes I don't throw away the suckers on the bad ones and replace them, but yeah, hopefully this one's okay, right? We're going to make sure it's fully extended Just put it in the tank. Oh my god, there was so many shrimp there, guys, on that bit. Next step, we'll push this down as far as we can. Like so. Can you guys even see anything? I'll show you in a second. It came off already. This is what I mean with these suckers. Guys, let me show you down here. Right guys, let me show you the sponge filter and we will switch it on. Turn around please, camera. Right, so it's very hard for you guys to see here. Where we have our sponge filter, your box standard double sponge. And the outlet is there. Let's actually just turn it on. And we'll soon see if there's any issues with this filter here. Because with this type of tank, guys, I want just a gentle flow. Like so, nothing much further than this. Like this, you see it? That is perfect. Right, and this will create minimal disturbance in the water column. Like this, you can see. Let me show you the bottom tank just so you can be a little bit clearer of what the goals are. So you can see here, look how much young is floating around in the water column here. That picture is so bad. Look how fast the water flow is. This camera doesn't want to go at the right angle. You can see it there, you see it? It's very, very slow. Look at the filter. Look at the tank. As I said, look at the young here. Look at them all floating around. So our filter is now good to go, right? So with saltwater stuff, you just want to keep an eye on the flow because these guys will eventually block. So you just need to clean them and yeah, they'll be good to go again. Right, so let's get on to the water change. Alright shrimplets, let me just move these lights and they will be facing up the way while we're doing this. Because my lights are just resting on the canopy. Like so. And yeah, I actually do have a way to hang these lights, I just haven't gotten around it yet. And I always find it's a good idea to have my lid on my saltwater tank just for evaporation. You guys can kind of still see, let me have a look. Yeah, you guys can kind of still see. Right, so we're going to remove 2 whole buckets worth of water out of here. So these buckets are 12 litres each. And that means we will take out roughly about 24 litres, and our container that actually fills up our stuff, our water container on this side is 25 litres, right? So we're going to take out 2 buckets worth like this, and this has the shrimp safe thing on the end, and we just have to remove our water like this. This one is full, that'll do. And all this stuff that we're using here, all of this stuff, it's not so bad with this, but buckets and all the pumping, whatever else on this side, it has to be rinsed because all of this stuff is, we don't want salt water, any kind of salt water going back into our main tank. So let me show you these buckets and see if you can see how yellow they are. Now, it doesn't really come out in camera, but you can probably just see how yellow they are. Actually, this one looks a little bit blue, but trust me, it's like tea. Right, so let's put our water in over here. Reverse osmosis water. I've already had my water in here set up and running for a while with all that salt in it. Guys, I think as I said, it was 400 plus grams for 25 litres. Let's just put it straight in like this. So this is its first water change ever in this house. First water change ever. Alright guys, let me just pick you up and we'll have a little look into the tank itself. You can see very rock pool like inside here. Lots of green algae all over the place. Like this, and there's even pumice. That's what this is here, is pumice. It floats and it's just got algae all over it as well. And yeah, the tank is doing really, really good actually. If anything we could be doing with a lot of this algae disappearing, But eventually it will go, guys. Eventually it will go. I have a lot of experience with Opae Ula. Let's have a look down here. This tank went exactly the same. Look at it now, how beautiful it is. This is actually geomorphic algae on the bottom. And it actually looks like string algae, doesn't it? But if you go closer, you can see the structure and stuff. It's like a very, very, very thin geomorphic algae in here. And you can see what the sponge filters go like. And you know, the glass isn't even clean on this, but look how nice that looks. Look how nice it looks once the geomorphic algae settles and all of the spongy type floating algae disappears, because you can see here, look, I put some in geomorphic algae. I've actually tried to put more of it around the center part here where there's light on the top, because this is where my spotlights are. And yeah, eventually the top one here will go like the bottom one. What do you think, guys? Let me look in the camera. It looks nice. Looks nicer. Shrimp are very, very active. Let me pick you up and we'll go and have a look. Shrimp are very, very active. There's lots of them in here, probably into the thousands, I would imagine. And hopefully with us doing this little change, we will have thousands more. Thousands more. You know what it's like with the shrimp keeper. Now snail, as I just showed you there. There's 2 in this tank. Guys, I'm exploring options for adding maybe a hermit crab or something into this tank as well. I think it'd just be a nice little addition. So if any of you guys keep Opae Ula and you have stuff like hermit crabs, please let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see if I can maybe maybe source something here. Because there's probably places in the capital in Norway of places that actually have like hermit crabs and stuff, right? So here you can see the filters stuck on at the side. Let's have a little final look in the bottom one. And that will be our update for our Opae Ula for 2025.